What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Slot 1 Super Podcast. Today is a big episode. We have Dragon Ball Heroes on the agenda. I'm sure, as you guys know at this point, my name is Vilify, and I'm joined by two other co hosts. They are lovely. One of them, we know him as a trailblazer. Some people might call him the toes of the mini variety. I like to call him Truth Jr. We have Minato's flashback today.
You know what? I like the first thing. No, I don't accept this.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
All
Well,
right. See you later, bud.
What if I just walked out and just didn't come back?
that's right. Then we wouldn't have to put up with any hero slander.
Hey, Ningen, they say that sounds low. Turn us up, buddy.
Oh, actually, yeah, it is. There we go.
Yeah, sorry, chat. Look, this guy Ningen.
I put so much effort into that intro, too.
Yeah.
Okay, just do the intro again. No.
No.
You didn't even finish.
Okay.
Continue.
You were still going. All right. Minato, he's here with us. And, if we had a Heroes episode, we'd be doing a disservice if we did not bring Ningen along with us. The other host, Ningen, how you doing today, bud?
Yeah, doing all right. Excited to talk about heroes. So, yeah, let's get at
Yeah.
it. Let's get this bread.
Listen, it's always a beautiful day here in the United States. It's a little bit cloudy, but it's still a beautiful day. We're all awake, right? So, the Dragon Ball Heroes stuff, it's going to be a jam-packed episode today. And just a quick reminder that if you guys want to help support the podcast and you have any questions, comments, or shout-outs, we'll read out all donations and super chats at the end of the show. We have some fun stuff, some unexpected developments, more looking at some banners that came out. But I think that what we're really here for today is Dragon Ball Heroes. So let's go ahead and hop right into that, right? We have a whole bunch of new characters, all sorts of fun names, right? We have the new Universal Goku. We have, how do you say it, Eos? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Eos.
Eos,
Yeah,
right? We
whatever.
have the new Few, we have the new Demigra, and then we also have the man, the myth, the legend, the warrior in black. So
Warrior in mid.
I think we should save Ningen's thoughts because I know he might get going. Minato, do you have any highlights from these heroes units? Anything like that? Your summons, were they bad? Were they good? All those fun things.
I did two multis.
Those multis? There you
I did
go.
two multis. I got
What?
everyone but Warrior in mid, terrible
Mhm.
garbage, and then the blue Goku. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna wait and see what the next Dokkan Fest is. Your boy kind of going free to play style right now.
Right.
Crazy free to play style right now. I'm just trying to test the waters to see how things go, and
Mhm.
it'd be crazy. But beyond that, I obviously I've been playing Dokkan for like 9 years. So
Mhm.
if you're telling me I can't see gameplay or even play as Blue Goku as a friend lead and know how good he is, then you're stupid. Anyways,
Mhm.
continuing on. Besides that, I don't know. That's just unwarranted.
Yeah.
I think the Blue Goku is actually pretty good.
Mhm.
I think the more that I'm thinking about him and like kind of have been using him just for funsies and like different events, the more I have been liking him. At
Mhm.
first, I felt like, actually, I did kind of thinking, I was like, I like kind of Tech Gohan and Tech Vegeta better. I kind of grouped those two characters together. Now I'm thinking it's actually the opposite. I think this guy is better than those two, especially
Ooh.
because he's good early on. And I think that's just going to be more useful. Um, but you could say obviously I think that Tech Gohan and Tech Vegeta are better in like a Goku Frieza Bulma situation, right?
Mhm.
So it's like really like you can go back and forth depending on the circumstance. I think Blue Goku is really nice though.
Mhm.
I know that like he has the Xeno character restriction that you don't really need.
Mhm.
Getting the extra additional super attack chance is really nice, but I
Yeah.
just feel like run this guy under his Kamehameha Power Beyond Super Saiyan team as his own leader skill. It's really good because put him under the 200% Kamehameha team. That's really good, right? And then you actually have like not nerfed HP with two blue Goku leads. And
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest issue with a lot of these heroes characters is their stats is really low. But this guy is like he doesn't even have 14k HP, so very unfortunate. Now the rest of the characters, I would say Eos looks pretty nice to me. Demigra looks, I
Mhm.
think, good to me. Uh, Few, I'm not really like the biggest fan of him. I think he's kind of just like like a slot 2, slot 3 character that doesn't really do crazy damage. He like his defense is probably like nice, but I don't know. I actually am not really a big fan of him because it's like he's kind of just like sitting there in slot 2, slot 3. Like I guess he's like a safer option, but Also, Warrior in Black is like the most disrespectful kind of design ever. I don't know what they're thinking with that piece of garbage. Like, he's actually just terrible. Like, what were they thinking when they made his design? And then they're like, yeah, no, this should be fine. He'll tank 2 million supers or something. And it's like, okay, here's 5 million super, big boy coming in, and oh, he dies. Loser. What an actual loser. I just like can't believe a defense character can't tank.
From the perspective of Few, he does something really satisfying with the board. I
Mm.
really like
yeah.
the way he does the half and half. Like, visual appeal is everything in Dokkan at times, right? And I think that was one thing that I liked about that character. But one thing that I see pretty common with this Blue Goku in specific is, especially when I was looking through the trash take segment right on Twitter, a lot of people are talking about the pairing of Blue Goku with Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku. It seems like a lot of
Yeah.
people are a fan of that rotation in specific, where it's like, oh, this guy makes him an absolute monster. So I don't know what you guys think
Yeah.
of that. I've been seeing that around the timeline a lot.
I missed one.
I
of the
thought that was
characters you
weird.
talked about
Like,
Blue
Super
Goku and who?
Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, the Golden Week.
As a rotation?
yeah,
How does that make sense?
so I
Don't shoot the
saw that.
messenger.
Yeah, no, I saw that when I was looking through
Yeah.
what trash takes things had already been put there ready for this week. And I was confused too, so I made a video because of that tweet. Like, I mentioned it in the video, I even showed the tweet.
Right.
And like a bunch of people in the comments told me that apparently I just read it wrong, and even though it's written like that, they just mean that like because I think the wording of the tweet was like, next to this guy, he's like the best TUR in the game. So I was like,
So that
okay,
means
well,
a
let's do a
rotation.
rotation.
Oh,
But
no,
apparently
no,
what he
I see
actually
what you
means
mean.
is that him,
Yeah.
they are the two best units in the game is all that means apparently.
Yeah.
Because I did the
would
video and
not
like
call
they
them
share
the
two
best.
links and none of them are for key. So like, I mean, the way the
You're like, am I crazy?
like it
Wait,
does.
that's a really funny misunderstanding. Though.
The funny thing
That's
is,
actually
the funny
really
thing
nice.
is, it does kind of work because obviously
Mhm.
Goku is not super great in slot 1, like on turn 1, whereas obviously Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku is really good in slot 1, so you can have him in slot 1 and Blue Goku in slot 2, but like it doesn't really do much for the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku because he's in slot 1 where he's weaker offensively anyway and has 2 links active, so it's
Also, there's no Majin Buu Saga characters.
yeah, well, I mean, you can run.
if you
I
run
run
them on
the
Kamehameha,
the
right?
200% Kamehameha team, so you have the family Kamehameha Gohan as the
Yeah, so
Buu
you're
Saga
floating that
ally.
guy. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
Listen.
Yeah, it's odd, but yeah,
If
it's
you want that
interesting
sorry.
combo. But
You want that rotation to work, you really gotta do some. It's a quest.
yeah,
'Cause
Yeah.
The thing is, like, he needs a Majin Buu Saga character in the same turn, so it's
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
got to build your team a certain way. But no, I mean, I like in terms of like how good this guy is as like best 2 or anything,
Mhm.
definitely not even close to like Beerus or Slug. No way. But he's pretty good. I would say, he's like,
Right.
if you're released in like early 2024, I'd be like, wow, pretty good character. Like early 2024, this guy could be best TUR level. But never know.
Hmm.
Power creep it's just this year it's been so aggressive, and worldwide made it even worse, right? Where it's like, especially if you're coming out post worldwide and in between any, this is usually like Dokkan character purgatory, right?
Mhm.
We think about all the past years. I don't want to get into all of them, but like
Yeah.
AGL Trunks sticks out like a sore thumb, right? Of just a character that aged so fast. Even like
Yeah.
the worldwide characters in 2021 and stuff like that. But I
Oh,
don't want
yeah,
to get too
it's-
much into that.
No, just expect these heroes units to be mediocre.
Mhm.
Pretty much did or
And-
bad in like 3 months. Yeah.
And you mentioned the HP stat. I believe Truth tweeted like the max HP that he could get was like 550 with the Heroes team.
It's always been like that. And
But it's,
Yeah.
as these bosses will hit harder, and it's just gonna be more and more of an issue,
hmm
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
there's
that's the
teams that
biggest
are
problem, 'cause-
hitting like 700 HP.
Yeah, exactly. Like there
And-
are
and it's
teams
like-
where you're not far off of 800k. So like with that
Yeah.
kind of team, if you take 400k from a super, then it's like, that's only like half my health. Whereas if you take 400k from a super on the heroes team, like there are rotations where
15%.
you might not survive that turn because unless everyone's taking double digits from normals for the rest of the turn, you've just lost most of your health.
And like you could say again, like I saw someone post Warrior in Black take a 650k super, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, that's actually really good against Gogeta." And it's like, well, one, this guy's a defensive character,
Dude,
and
dude
two,
is-
that was post super attack.
It's like
And
sneak dissing me. That was me that tweeted that.
Was that you?
Yeah.
No, you tweeted the Gogeta thing.
Oh.
It was someone else that tweeted this to Truth specifically
Okay.
as a reply to him. I didn't see you do that,
Mm.
but it was in the Gogeta fight.
Against Blue
the,
Gogeta.
the Super Gogeta
right,
fight.
right.
I'm not, dude. You're talking about the Gogeta Blue fight. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
We're
sorry. I
done
know.
with the '90s, guys. Come
Look,
on.
I know you got that fight like 3 months ago, but I got that fight like 9 months ago. So
Well, yeah, but the point of the tweet that I made, I wasn't talking about like, oh, so that means he's like super good in the meta, because obviously I know the Blue Gogeta fight no one really cares anymore. But it's more so the fact that it's like the Blue
He's type
Gogeta,
disadvantage,
yeah,
right?
type disadvantage. He hits for like, was it like 2 point something million type disadvantage?
2.6.
Yeah, and it's
He's
type
still
disadvantage,
smacks.
and he took
Well, I
like
mean, the
five.
thing
He
is
took
that
like
it's like,
500k.
okay, you say
which-
that, and then like he's been like debuffed like 6 times, so you're like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, if you notice though, like you can attack lower a boss repeatedly to the point where like even weak units take double digits from their normals, but their super attack still hits like ridiculously hard. Attack lowering doesn't
can.
affect like the super attack as much as you might think. Because I used to see that a lot with like when we got that Vegito Blue and then like the Kaioken Goku version of like the same event, right? Where it's like you just attack lower them a whole bunch, but then they can still just one shot you with a super on depending on which character it's on. But yeah, it's just more so that like it wasn't me trying to say he was good. It was just the fact that like everyone was like, oh, he's terrible, unusable garbage. And it's like, well, he just ate like a 3 million damage type disadvantage super, and I then won the run like after that. So I mean, it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
if you use him
like-
in an event that's like a year old, I guess that's fair.
This guy.
No,
We're gonna have to mute Minato for a little bit to let him talk. You know,
who Ningen?
let Ningen go. Yeah, you
Look,
keep
I
going
had
like your
I had to let my
JP
little
elitism is
slide-
showing. All right.
No. I just had to let my little
right.
little
Well,
fly in there. He finished talking
Yeah.
about.
Listen,
the
we're
Masked
having
Warrior.
fun, right?
I'll mute until he's done.
Okay, all right. I don't know what's going on with him, but like we got Ningen.
Certified
I wanna
heroes,
try to
yeah.
transition, right? What do you think of these heroes characters, right? Aside from just the discourse here, right? Do you like the characters? Is this I know you're probably gonna say no, but is this like the send off that you wanted for heroes and all that type of fun stuff? I know this is kind of your thing, so it's like I'll kind of leave the floor for you a bit.
Just watching Minato, he's muted himself and is now, I think he's just screaming he's bad. But yeah, no, it's
Oh.
I don't think in terms of Heroes fans, it's not the send off that we necessarily wanted. Because of the lineup of the characters and all that kind of stuff. I think we touched on it maybe a little bit last time because we didn't have the full info in the last episode. But it does very much strike me as like they decided on the lineup of characters before they knew it was going to be the last ever celebration. And then when they did find out, it's like too late to just throw out. Like they're not going to throw out all the work they've already done and redesign a whole new lineup of characters when there's no real financial incentive for them to do so, right? Like they're just going to keep the work that they've done before, because looking at the characters that we got, like, and based on who we've got before and the way the arcs go in the anime and everything, like all of these characters kind of make sense. And then the next, like say there was going to be a celebration next year, then we would get like the awakened version of Eos, like Supreme Kai of Time, where she has like the adult version. And then we probably get like the other warriors in black and like all that other stuff. Like it seems very much like by giving us that first version of her and then like 2 of the warriors in black, because we got one of them as the free to play, it very much seems like they just started like dipping into that arc because they were then going to carry on doing it like next time. I know the only difference is like Demigra, what the demon like Dark King Demigra was the final boss of that arc, so he is in there as well, which is interesting. It's also disappointing that this is the first time the last 2 years in a row we've had multiple 200% leaders and we've had a super and an extreme class one, whereas this time we didn't, right? When we saw that Goku and Fu were the kind of the 2 main units, we just assumed that they would both be 200% leaders, and only Goku is, which in a grand scheme of things, like overall, it doesn't necessarily matter too much, but then it is kind of awkward because they gave Demigra, who is really good, this random condition where he has to have a full extreme class rotation to get extra damage reduction in slot 1, but then they didn't give us a new extreme leader for the team. So one of the builds that I've been using that has still been like perfectly usable in some of these difficult content is like to run Universe Tree Goku as a friend and then run a friend Limit Breaker Vegito, run them together as a rotation, and then have everybody else on the team be extreme. So then you have like Demigra with Mechikabra, and then everybody else floating is an extreme character. But it's just annoying that you like have to do that, because then you can't be like, oh, but I want to throw in like Pan or God Trunks, or so it's like, well, you can't, because otherwise every other rotation you won't have a full extreme like a full extreme turn for Mechikabra, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, in terms of like positive stuff, like Goku is good. He is a very weirdly, interestingly designed unit, because like I've been trying him out in some of these difficult events. Like I've been running through the new stages for the God event that we just got on Global. And it's weird because like he's not great in slot 1 on the first turn. He gets that buff from his intro. Then he gets a massive buff by doing a bunch of attacks. So on his second turn, his defense is like really, really high. And then when he appears for his third appearance, his intro buff runs out. So his defense like drops a little bit. So he's like, unfortunately, a unit that whilst he can go in slot 1 in certain situations, he's probably better in slot 2 for the most part. And it's probably one of the biggest issues that the Heroes team always has every year, where the team just doesn't have enough really, really good slot 1 tanks. Because even Demigra, like with that full extreme rotation, he has 80% damage reduction, but he only has like 200k start of turn defense or thereabouts. It can be higher with links and support and stuff, but it's just like, it's why characters like AGL Golden Frieza was like so good for so long, and like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but then they start to age out, because even with really high numbers of damage reduction, if you've got barely any defense, then it doesn't really work like super well. But I mean, at the end of the day, the units weren't exactly who we wanted. They weren't, I would say, compared to last year, the units aren't as good in terms of like how powerful they are in the meta. Because last year, Limit Breaker Vegito came out, and that team then just destroyed every event that was out in the game. Whereas with this year, this team can beat every event in the game. Because obviously we don't have it on Global, but I did a reaction to Truth's run. Truth, after like 4 hours of streaming, was it, or something, beat Goku and Frieza with the Heroes team. So the Heroes team can beat every event in the game, but it took a lot of work. Whereas I feel like last year, the Limit Breaker Vegito just kind of steamrolled everything. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, the Heroes, it's just like it is every year. Like, as much as I'm a massive Heroes fan, even I said this going into the banner, it's like most people probably shouldn't summon, like, unless you're a whale or a collector or whatever, because yeah, the units are fun, the team can be good, even like if you get RNG on your side, but yeah, they're not like optimal units. They age out very quickly, but they're cool and they're fun, so I like using them. Yeah, so it is what it is. And yeah.
You mentioned earlier, or just like a minute ago, right? Like where last year was a case of like, it's like, is AGL Vegito like just straight up number 1 TUR? Right?
Yes.
Even on like the wonky Heroes
he
team
was.
with the stats and all that. Right. And then this year it's like, yeah, this Goku is good, but I mean, you really, I just like, in my opinion, you just can't argue him at 1, right?
No.
You can argue him being really good.
I put him at, I made a tier list and I think I put him at like 4, but
right,
because I include him on like I include him when I do like a Dokkan Fest TURs, because same as I did with Vegito last year, but I don't put easy A's in that list. So I had like Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Boo and Slug as like the top 3, and then this Goku was at 4, because I don't think there's any way you could argue he's better than any of those 3.
right.
But he is good. But yeah, I don't think you can argue he's better than those 3 at all.
Right.
Even Tech Vegeta, like, because he's kind of in a similar vein to Goku, where he's not super good defensively in slot 1 anymore on turn 1. But then obviously once he starts stacking up, Goku probably hits harder than him. But then once Goku loses his intro buff, then obviously Vegeta starts getting way, way tankier, which I think is probably more important. But
And Vegeta also has the active skill, which is pretty cool too.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I guess Goku has an active skill too. I forgot.
Yeah. He can just use it turn 1.
Yeah,
Not
but
that you would do it, but
Vegeta could seal on his active skill, right? That could be good on a long event like Bulma. I think,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, Vegeta can do that.
So you kind of talked about Bulma. I think this would give us to a good transition here, right? You know, we have our thoughts on all of the characters, what their kits are like, what they're doing, all the funky restrictions and all that. But what we haven't talked about is the new sort of event, right? Where it's like, you know, kind of a question mark, where it's like, why didn't we get an update to the Heroes Red Zone? But in replacing that, we got the Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and they really went like all out with the name here, the Special Battle.
Yep.
And you know, and it says here we can reign victorious against formidable foes to obtain a wallpaper. I know we're all excited about that.
But yeah, set as my wallpaper right now.
Yeah. So the first stage, Super Dragon Ball Heroes Fighters. In my experience, it was like I kind of went in here using a Heroes team because it's like you just kind of like immediately looking at the stats, you just see like Blue Goku's hitting for 1.5 million. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like this is superheroes food, but it's not really like that's not the point of this, right? This is like, you know, you want to go in here with the Heroes team, and it can be sometimes. I did lose my first run, but you know that was sort of just kind of feeling it out. The first one, and so I'm just kind of giving my thoughts right away. The first one against the super class wasn't too bad. Didn't really notice anything too funky. Mind control or berserk controlled Vegeta really in my experience would just super slot one like every single time, and he would stun on super, so that was really annoying. But other than that, nothing too crazy. But you know, I thought that the Super Dragon Ball Heroes Foes stage was done a little bit better because there was a lot of gimmicks that they had going on. We had some locking. Ultimate Hearts had a bit of a countdown super. I'm just kind of looking over it. Eos and the female warrior in black, it was a 2-enemy fight, so that kind of took a little bit to get down. And then Demigra had a funky thing here. We got defense plus 50% with HP is 70% or more, but then when you got lower than 69% HP, you had attack up. So a 1.1 million super with the 50% attack increase is nothing too crazy, but I think if you are using the Heroes team, this potentially could be a little bit formidable.
Yeah, wait, that's the warrior in black, right?
This is Dark King Demigra.
Oh, okay.
In the last phase,
I know. Not
she gets. I see what you. Do you want me to just read it? I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Warrior in black, she gets attack plus 60% when Eos is present, and then Eos gets the reverse. She gets defense plus 60%. So
I was talking about the physical guy. He was early on in this fight, right?
Oh, that's in the Heroes one
no,
because he's super class.
We're talking about foes right now.
Yeah. I'm talking about like there's a boss of him in one of the new events, right?
Yeah, the first phase, but we're talking about the extreme version. That's stage one. We're talking about stage two.
Wait, he's on the super class version?
Yeah, because he's super class.
Black,
Oh, okay.
He's Bardock.
Okay.
Well, this is one of the interesting discussions that we've been having in the comment section of my videos. Is there's apparently been a lot of discussion. I just thought it was Bardock because I thought it was. Well, apparently there's a lot of debate over whether it's Bardock or Goku from another universe because there's been a bunch of things that got pointed out. So you can kind of see the top of the scar, right? So I thought it was Bardock, but he doesn't wear the bandana. And when Bardock shows up later in the arc and is Super Saiyan 3 and then obviously goes Super Saiyan 4 for that triple generation beam attack thing, he does have the bandana. And then somebody pointed out the style of boots that the warrior in black is wearing are the ones that Goku wears and not the ones that Bardock wears.
All right, so
but
fine. It's Goku. Same. It's a boss,
but yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently someone said some V-Jump article said that it was Goku, but I don't know.
Okay, well,
yeah.
So yeah, Minato. So what Minato is saying here, Warrior in black attack plus 77% with HP is 59% or less. But then it's usually the inverse is kind of what you'd expect, but he gets tankier when his HP gets to 30% or less. So that's interesting. Defense plus 77%.
Yeah, because I know that guy, that warrior black part of the fight, like one shot my heroes to once, and I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Going to grab superheroes real quick. Let me make sure I take care of this. But
I think he one shot Pan who didn't dodge, and they just wanted to.
Oh,
because I was like, oh, that's stupid.
Good old Pan.
Every time. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what happened.
Bruh.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so with these events, I don't know. What do you guys think? Right, I've kind of yapped enough about them.
They're just whatever to me.
Right, kind of nothing burgers.
I mean, that's the thing. They're fun, but like they are. I mean, the Heroes Red Zone stages weren't really comparable in difficulty to the normal Red Zone stages that had come out before them. So it's one of those things where I think they make them a little bit easier on purpose because obviously both the stages did have a mission to beat it with a full Heroes team as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they kind of make the stage so that you can beat it with a Heroes team.
They
without too much extra stress.
I'm sorry, Dingan. The mission shenanigans.
Yeah.
What was that all about? It was like at first it was one character.
Yeah, so when the missions first came out, I'm pretty sure the mission said with a full Dragon Ball Heroes team. So I did it with a full Dragon Ball Heroes team anyway.
Me too.
And then they put in an update afterwards saying that the mission was supposed to say only one Heroes character. So now that mission was still completed, but then they added in beat it with a full Heroes team, which obviously most people had at that point then already done. So you basically just had to replay the stage with the same team again to beat the mission again and get another 5 stones.
Hey,
But,
more stones.
I mean,
Well,
you know,
so yeah, they because there's beat it with at least one hero. No, I think it was beat it with 6 heroes characters, and then they added 2 more missions to beat it with 1 heroes character in the team. So again, you had to redo it because the mission with beating it with the full heroes team is still there.
oh, right.
in-game.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I just ran
better.
them again with the same team and did it again. But yeah, it's one of those things, like, it's cool to have events that are like, this one's got like a reasonable length, so you can get some units where you can get a few stacks off, you can get them to build up to their transformations and active skills and all that kind of stuff. But the challenge in terms of, for some of the strongest teams in the game, is obviously not really there. But it's at that sort of fun level of difficulty where if you like using teams that are not necessarily the strongest teams in the game, like, it's not, there's a little bit of challenge, but it's not too hard, which is fine. Like, having events of that difficulty level sometimes is good, but I do wish they had put in a sort of, like, you know, Goku and Frieza level difficulty event or something like that, but they never really do for Heroes, right? So it's maybe a bit disappointing, but at the same time not surprising, right?
Yeah, it's a careful balance that you have to find too, because they're going to, like, if they do a Goku and Frieza level fight, you know, they're gonna put in, like, because it's the hero celebration, they want you to summon on the banner, right? They're gonna do a heroes mission where you have to beat it with the heroes team, and it's like, if we had a Goku Frieza level fight where it's taking, you know, one of the best accounts in the world, you know, 4 hours to beat, it's like, you know, Joe from accounting doesn't want to do that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you know, you got, I think honestly it's a pretty happy medium where it's like, this event could be fun to play if you're using a heroes team, but if you don't care about the extra stones, it could just be easy. Use your superheroes team, have a good time. But I think it's fun. I think maybe what they could have done is, if they wanted to do that, just not like only do like one heroes mission for the event and then it's just like normal, like a normal difficult fight just against heroes bosses, right? They just make like one of the stages for the heroes red zone just like crazy, and I don't know. I think if you want to do the heroes restriction, what you would do is the one heroes unit on like a normal team. If you want to do like a super that's hitting for 5 million in a heroes difficult event, I think that's how I'd handle it. But a full heroes team in a Goku and Frieza fight, like, no, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like maybe if they made the units like actually
Right.
like better,
Mm-hmm.
then just make that even harder too. Like what is the downside to making the units better?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just because it's guaranteed featured? Like,
Yes.
has to be
Yes. That's it. Yeah.
But that's the thing,
That's
is
really it.
it's a good balance, because it's like, if you make the units good on a guaranteed featured banner, then that's what will make people actually summon on it, and then have to, you know, be out of stones when it comes to something else, right? So
Yeah.
making the units better would really have only been a benefit for everyone, I
It's
think. But
It doesn't make sense to me.
As someone who's in the
least
market of like, should you summon videos and stuff like that, right? It's like, you know, you have to mess it up for me to be like, this is guaranteed featured, but don't summon.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
It just it's like even if their HP stats were normal and everything else was like, it would be like twice as good, low key with the team, because it's like, okay, you know, Warren Black could actually live supers,
Yeah.
right? You know, that's not a crazy thing to ask for the brand new character team to come out to be competitive in events, which it can be the new events still. It just like unnecessary, making it like more difficult, but it's whatever to me.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I
is
will
what it
say
is.
about the banner format that was nice is obviously we weren't sure what to expect when they only showed off 5 new characters, and then the banner just ended up being only 5 featured units, which in terms of like for the players specifically, that is probably the best outcome, because it's every summon you've just got a 1 in 5 chance of getting whichever one of the characters that you want. Not that that necessarily helps, because I did my when I did my summons on stream, I pulled 4 copies of Goku and then went like 500 stones without pulling the 5th copy of Goku. So by the time I'd finished summoning everyone, I think I'd pulled like Demigra like 15 times. And then I made like an epic all-time fumble with my Warriors in Black copies. I pulled him 12 times, I want to say. But mine is only 79% because with the banners coming out at 5 o'clock, I blame the banners coming out at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I was going through awakening everybody and like leveling them up and everything. And I'd opened the paths on every other character except him. And I thought I'd opened his paths already. So I just trained in the extra copies to get him to SA10 and then realized I hadn't opened his path. So only had 2 spare copies left. So he's now 79% for me, despite the fact I pulled him 12 times, which is very, very frustrating. And I can't justify going back into the banner when he's the only one I don't have rainbowed and he's the worst one. Yeah, it feels bad having to summon on a banner again because I accidentally used the copies of the character that I'd already pulled. So he'll just have to stay at 79% for me. But
don't do that for Annie, bud.
Yeah, man, I've never done that as well. Like the fact that I've been playing this game since like not long after the first anniversary, and I've never done that before. And yeah, that was as soon as I did it as well. Like I make it a point on my main channel never to curse, but when I realized I'd done it, it's just like
I guess I can kind of relate that to somehow I messed up putting the second dupe into that Int Golden Frieza from the 9th anniversary. On my JP, I don't know why, but it's the top left or the bottom right and the top. Or it's like both of the bottom ones I did for some reason. I don't know why. He's 79%. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the wrong spot. What did I do?
79%, but he's got no extra additional.
I was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? And then I go look, it's like, why is he down there?
Damn.
But yeah, so.
But yeah,
I guess like kind of quickly to wrap this up with heroes, right? You know, the events are kind of just whatever. The units are fun, but it's always the same shenanigans with the heroes units. Just kind of like our final thoughts on the celebration, right? I think that they did like an okay job given the runway that they had. Again, we all are kind of subscribed to the theory that they didn't expect this to be their send off. This was supposed to just be another year. But at least it was fun, right? I think the community kind of set these high expectations, as they always do with heroes, right? I feel like whenever we go into the build-up period, it's like, oh, is Ultra Instinct Kaioken Vegito coming? And is he going to be an LR? And it's like, nah, it's probably just Trunks or something. Like that's usually what it ends up happening.
Yeah, I think it's because we got so like people were so focused on like it's going to be the last one, so surely they're going to do all sorts of crazy stuff.
The part 2 cope, right?
Yeah.
the hidden 2 units, right? It's like what 2 units are going to be on the banner? It's just like, oh, they're not going to be there anyway.
And then the V jump, the V jump misprint as well with the because I made a video about that. As soon as I saw that, there was the V jump scans, and it was like, oh, Warrior in Black's getting an easy A, and it's like, wait, what? She's getting an easy A now instead of next year. Part 2 cope intensifies, and then they literally clarified like the next day or something. It's like, oh wait, no, that was just meant to say like Dokkan Awakening. It's like, oh, great.
What I would say is the fact that there should be a crossover banner coming soon.
Yep.
That's why some of the heroes characters weren't on the heroes banner, like the old ones. So I think that they might start putting the heroes characters in the unfeatured pool over time. Is what I think
would be nice.
Yeah, because they mentioned something about crossover characters appearing in a future banner on the actual Heroes banner itself, didn't they? Like in the news thing for it. So
and then like Super Saiyan 3 Teen Gotenks or Baby Janemba aren't on the Heroes banner this year.
Yep.
Because they're going to be on an upcoming banner. Now I'm thinking again. I'm thinking the next Dokkan Fest is either Majibu Saga or Carnival. We'll kind of get into that later. We should see the reveal pretty much in 3 days. And there's a crossover banner upcoming, so I'm like, it has to be a crossover character with like a category banner that they're on. Because I would assume it'd be like the category Dokkan Fest banners, like crossover Dokkan Festival, and then they have those characters there. That's why a lot of people were thinking like Toa and Mira and Demigod would get their EZA, like these Xenoverse characters.
Xeno Trunks.
And then just put that too, and put them on that banner. But I don't know what they're gonna do now at this point. I mean, we'll see. It'll be very interesting. I'm thinking again. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I don't know, like well, if he's the host, of course, and he's kind of leading us through here, so I don't want to
Yeah,
jump ahead before we talk
Right.
about everything we need to.
Mhm.
of course. That would be a sin, right?
Oh
All
yeah.
right, so let's. All right, so yeah, I guess that's we're gonna move on now, right? Shout out to Heroes. You know, it's been a fun ride. Hopefully, we can talk about it more at some point, but who knows?
I mean,
Um,
whenever the easy A, we know
Good,
they're-
good night, sweet
Right,
prince.
right,
Yeah,
right,
we know the future ones, but that's the other thing is it just going to be like, are we going to wait till next November? Is it just going to be like November
Random.
we get a random Dokkan Fest because we don't have a hero celebration anymore, and then the heroes
It
EZAs
would be a
drop in
part
that
to a lot,
celebration?
probably.
Or are they going to
Yeah.
drop? They could drop at another time. Will they drop in like 4 months or something, or is it just going to be November? But that's something we just have to wait and see. So
I mean, okay, so I'm taking a look here at the banner, like, because next year would be the Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breakers and Hearts, right?
yeah,
Like, if year 10 is like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, what if they EZA this next batch of Heroes characters in like March or April?
yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be actually a really good thing. We'll see what happens. Again,
Right. Alrighty, so Heroes, we'll try that one again. Thank you to Heroes, right? But moving along, we have sort of, I don't know if this was unexpected, but like it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Not what it is, or not like what came back, but what it was, right? The Black Friday Dokkan celebration, right? Now, typically, for global this time of year, this is usually like when Tanabata season is, right? Where it's like, UI Goku would come out, and then Jiren would be part 2, and then we'd have the funky Tanabata banner. But this year, it's quite different. We have some anticipated returns with all types of different coining options, summoning options, and all fun things, right? This is the return of Broly. This is the return of Beast Gohan. This is the return of the Gammas, as well as Gogeta. So, with that being said, right, I don't think personally that you should be summoning on these, but these are some anticipated returns, right? I kind of made a whole video talking about this, where it's like,
Yep.
if you need these characters, if Beast Gohan is someone that you're still missing for some reason, this is definitely an opportunity to pick them up with coins. This is why we save coins. But good returns and stuff like that. But I want to know what you guys think of this whole thing. I think it's pretty exciting, but again, it's sort of just a trap in my opinion, and we got to talk about why you shouldn't fall for this.
I mean, again, just first and foremost, global players, you guys aren't used to this timing, but anniversary is in 2 months. Guess
Right.
who returns for anniversary? The previous anniversary characters. Every time, right? For global, these characters don't return in the past for 11 months, but now it's going to be really quickly. I mean, they're here right now, but it's like, okay, let's say in the world you grab them with coins, you're gonna 99% gonna summon on some of the 10th anniversary banners, right? I think, especially if it's a major power creep game reset, then you'll probably eventually get some of these characters too. And I think like Beast Gohan, or even like Blue Gogeta, they're the type of characters that are designed in a way that they could survive like a power shift. Which will have, no matter what, the 10th anniversary will have some sort of boss power creep. That just is going to happen for year 10, right? So it's a thing of, those are the main attractions of the banner, and if they're going to be back so soon, even wasting coins for these guys, like, you'll have the opportunity to get them when you're summoning on the 10th anniversary banners. So it's just like, outside of them, I mean, I saw a lot of people, they're like, sell max, should have grabbed with coins. I actually would say it's not a bad choice, because after this banner, there's not going to be another yellow coin banner all the way until April. It's the next time we're going to get yellow coin banner, because next month is Rising Dragon Carnival. January doesn't have one, then anniversary. March doesn't have one. Then again, we go into April, where the next one will be, and that's when Cell Max will be available on another yellow coin banner with coins. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, you could also say for like to get, I mean, I guess I would say Cell Max better than June, though, to be fair. Like, maybe the Carnival December LR that'll be out next month is like really good. Who knows?
Yeah, and then you got was it anniversary? We'll see Tech Broly and Family Kamehameha Gohan come back as well, so they're like a prime target for Carnival coins as well.
Yep, that's true. That's a very good point. Yeah, you're right. Those are also Carnival coin LRs that I completely forgot about. I don't know. It's just the thing of, and then the rest of the banner is not like, crazy. You know, like
Right.
a lot of them
Yeah.
are mostly just old characters that are easy aid.
Mhm.
That's my take. I actually really thought that they would feature the third and fourth anniversary LRs on this.
Because the buffs, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but they didn't. So I found that a little odd, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
I
one
tried
thing
to beat. Oh, sorry, Negan.
I was just gonna say, it was related to Cell Max, and it's something I hadn't actually thought about until recent. In fact, I hadn't really thought about it until this banner came out, and then we were talking about it on stream because somebody said, like, shall I buy Cell Max? And it's interesting because we don't get as many yellow coin banners as we used to, because we have the other formats and stuff now. But we also, now that we have the pity for legendary summon banners, I hadn't really thought about it this way before, but if you're somebody who's going to summon on those banners, because now that pity is a thing, you know you can get those characters. Like Cellmax was a good example, right? Because he was really good, and you could like guarantee that you were going to get him. So if you actually have to go to pity to get the character, you're then trading in all of those coins to get the pity copy. So then you don't actually ever get any yellow coins. So yellow coins have now become actually much harder to get. So a lot of the time I would say to people in the past, like, don't buy featured yellow coin LRs on a carnival banner because you want to be saving your carnival coins for the LRs that are only available with carnival coins. But realistically now, like, saving up actual yellow coins is not going to be something that's as easy to do. Like, you're only really going to do it if you summon on those yellow coin banners and you pull the unit before the pity, and you're at a level where you don't want to go, oh well, I'll just finish it to get that guaranteed extra copy. Like, then you'll end up getting maybe like 70 or 80 yellow coins, but then that's going to take quite a long time to then save up the like 500 that you need to buy the unit, right? So it's
You also need to keep in mind that like there's pity also for carnival banners. Like we don't know 100% if it's gonna be in every carnival banner. Like they might only put the pity on the non-double rates carnival banners potentially, because it's like, dude, imagine if there's pity on the double rates carnival banner. That would be kind of crazy, because that only happens during Tanabata and next month. I assume it'll be like only during like the Dokkan Fest X Carnival banners will be when that system is implemented for the Carnival pity. But at the same time, it's like every single banner has pity now. Would it just be only those double rates banners that don't have pity? Like I feel like that just would just stick out.
we haven't had a carnival banner since the pity systems come into play, have we? Because carnival banners don't have them.
Because next month we're gonna see next month.
Yeah.
literally, like
because that's because that coin thing also kind of applies to the anniversary in the worldwide now as well, because it's something I was thinking about. Like, I didn't pull the gammas during the anniversary, so now that they're available for global again, I could buy them with my carnival coins. And then I was thinking about, you know, as we've said, right, they're going to come back on the anniversary banners anyway, which I will be summoning on. But if the anniversary has that same format as the worldwide, these new formats for the pity, like, it's kind of an unexpected side effect that I hadn't really given any thought to. But it's like you're now combining all those coins across like the 4 banners to potentially save up to get one of those copies guaranteed. But then that means you're not getting any extra red or carnival coins. So it's like your coin intake is going to significantly reduce if the main times you summoned were like the anniversary and the worldwide. Because I haven't been whaling out as much as I have in the past, so I've got a lot less coins than I used to. And like Topo's returned for the first time for global as well on that Black Friday banner, because obviously they didn't put him on the Roshi banner. He's one of the only Dokkan Fest exclusives I don't have. But it's like, if I buy him now, like, and then when I summon, like, I'm going to summon a lot during the anniversary, but will I actually end up getting any coins? Because most of them will probably get exchanged into being the pity coins. So it's kind of interesting that the introduction of all these extra pity banners has like massively changed the like coin economy, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's something honestly, like, I haven't even thought about. Right, it's so easy just to take like the short term W of we can get the character that we're summoning for at the end. Like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But then the sort of, the argument for like years has always been this game has always rewarded loyalty. It's always rewarded continuity, right? And now we're kind of stepping into this new phase where, like, yeah, like you said, like yellow coins you're not really going to have anymore, right? And a case in point, I coined Cellmax on my global account because I'm like, I'm not going to be summoning on yellow coin banners anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like the chance of just getting him on a carnival, it's like, I don't know, why even leave it to chance? It's like, I have Gogeta, I have the Gammas, and it's like, Cell Max is like a really important piece to this movie bosses team that, I kind of fleshed out during the Worldwide Download celebration. So now that, being able to pick up Cell Max with this opportunity is good, but like, it really is going to be tough if you are one of those, twice a year summoners to really ever get coins that aren't just pity coins, right? You would almost actually have to exclusively just always convert them, which is obviously, you never really want to do that. You always want to wait till the end, but it's like, that might just be the option, right? Like, even if pity's there, you just want to ignore it. Like, if you want to be like responsible, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's tough because it's always been the thing with pity as well. So it's good to have if you need it. You kind of get to that point where it's like if you pull the unit, but you're like 4 multis away from the pity, then it's like, well, should you do those extra 4 multis? Because then you get a dupe guaranteed, but then you're then not getting any coins, which could potentially affect picking up stuff in the future. Like, it's quite interesting how that's panning out now.
I think there's a good way to put that, right? Where it's like you talk about, it's like, oh yeah, look at this, I can get that 69% on Kamehameha Gohan, right? Or you could take those 500 coins and save it for when you get shafted, right? So it's like you have to pick the choice, and it's obviously it's so much easier just to take what's in front of you right now, because impatience is like one of the worst assets we have as humans, right? But it's always so easy to chase that dupe, but like really, if you want to play this game responsibly, I think that's something you really have to think about. Where it's like you almost want to just act like the pity doesn't exist unless you don't have the character. I think
I would say
that is true. That keyboard.
Yeah,
I
no, I
agree.
was typing something. I would
You're good.
say that I didn't think it was that loud. So when it comes to that, I personally feel like in a lot of situations that character will be the better character to go for anyways. That's the way the pity's there. But like you could also transfer it to another one of those Dokkan Festival banners. Like, I mean, if we're talking about carnivals, the best thing to do is to convert those carnival coins into Dokkan Fest coins before the celebration ends, and then you get red coins.
Yeah.
Right.
Because carnival banners are way less frequent than Dokkan Festival banners. There's obviously always going to be a absurd amount of Dokkan Fest characters to carnival characters. So even then, it's like, when it comes to carnival coins in the future, I don't know. I don't really see like any coin being abundant there besides Dokkan Festival coins personally, but because of pity, the coins, like for a lot of people, the thing is that with coins is they had niche use before, for sure. Now I feel like they actually have a way better value, so people are just gonna have less coins because there's actually a huge value to use coins with. So by default, the actual loyalty system part of the coins like doesn't really do anything anymore because most of the time you'll just rather get the character that you're summoning for, because 9 out of like if you're summoning for the new character, you likely want them like really badly unless you're a very compulsive spender. Like I think especially if you're free to play, if you're summoning smartly, then you're only summoning on banners for characters you actually want. So why would you not grab the character, especially if even if it's a dupe? Like, why would you not grab the extra copy with the coins that you have, and that'll lead you to not having any red coins? Like for me on the Slug banner, right? I summoned until I got a dupe of Slug, and then I had 10 extra leftover versions of the coins. So it's like, okay, even though I did like, I don't know, 10-ish I did like 15 multis on the banner. I ended up only having like 10, 12 red coins left over because I wanted to get Slug because I really liked Slug's design. I'm a villain fan, right? So that's a thing. I mean, yeah. So I would say that's why I'm like buying these characters with the coins. It's like you really should save them for bigger characters at this point, because at some point I think people are just like, it's gonna be way longer to buy a character that's returning in pity with coins, just because of how the system works. if you're summoning smartly, even as a replay character.
Yes. I think that was you brought up a good like kind of counterpoint to what we were saying, right? But like it's always just going to be tough, right? Because every situation with coins and stuff, like what you're recommending advice, everybody's situation is different, right? Characters that you're missing, how your summons went. It's not like if you just other than aside from getting the pity copy with the amount of stones, right? It could take somebody 1,500 stones plus all of the extra rainbow units you have to get the 500 coins that you need, right? Because like I pitied who was it, the Super Saiyan trio during the worldwide, but I didn't spend 2,500 stones, right? Like there's like those little tickets in the exchange shop. I went and looked. I did like 36. You know what I'm talking about, Minato?
Yeah.
You get the JP only tickets.
Yeah. You mean the no? You mean the Dragon Ore?
What? You got like a little extra bonus for summoning. It was like some funky little ticket. You'd have to do it in person in Japan.
You're talking about the figure thing, right?
Yeah. So and then I went and looked. I had like 35 of those or something like that by the time I was done. So not 2,500. But I'm going on a tangent, but it's like, most of the time it's not going to be like the full amount of stones, but yeah, coins, it's an interesting economy now. But like you said, I think having the ability just to be able to purchase the thing, I think is a W worth taking if it means not having red coins just laying around, right? Because usually it is always frustrating, right? Like, because I have to wait, what is it? Like, so I didn't pull UI Goku at the end of June and I got to wait till March and there's nothing I could have done about it.
Yep.
Right. And so now, hopefully, the Tanabata character will have pity in the future, and we won't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. So I don't have to sit. I don't have to put the 500 coins in and just sit on them. Yeah. Listen, I'm talking a lot, but no coins.
I used to end up with a lot of red coins, like when I was summoning more, because I used to always be in a situation where it's like I wouldn't pull a unit, or maybe I would only pull the one copy. So I'd be like, right, I'm going to save red coins for them when they come back on a banner. And then when they come back on a banner, I'd pull them multiple times before I pull the actual new unit that I'm summoning for. So then I wouldn't need to get them with red coins. So then I would always just have a surplus of red coins. But now I've definitely noticed, not only with summoning less, but with the pity system, my red coins are now dwindling and not being like replenished as much as they were in the past. Because that's the thing, I'm very tempted to pick up Topo because I don't have him. But interestingly enough, on the banner, it does mention that Topo and Broly will be returning on banners coming soon, which is interesting because it doesn't mention Beast. It only mentions Broly. The only thing I'm thinking of for that is that it means the anniversary, and obviously Broly would be on the part 1 banner and Beast will be on the part 2, and that's why it doesn't mention Beast. But it'd be weird for Topo to be on the anniversary banner, because normally with the anniversary headliners, they don't return on like single banners on their own, do they return on dual Dokkan Fests with their counterparts. So it'd be weird for Broly to return on a banner soon but not Beast. So not sure what that means necessarily, but
is I mean, we do for Topo. I was expecting him to be in the next Dokkan Fest anyways, because he's still hasn't returned on global. And then what they did is for Slug's banner, they returned Rose on both global and JP. So I think they want the new banners that come out to be uniform no matter what. So I think the next banner is going to have Topo on both global and JP. I don't think Broly could return in that banner too. It's like not a non-zero chance, because we know that they're like, oh yeah, Tech Paragus didn't actually EZA because we actually have an Extreme Z Awakening plan for him and another celebration.
I forgot about that.
So we're gonna be getting a Broly sooner than later. I mean, it's just so weird. It's like, because the next Dokkan Fest, again, there's a lot of things we could talk about that. And I know that's a topic we're gonna cover later. But I think this is like, if you're fine with vilify, like, I think this is a good time to kind of talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Yeah, just at least a little bit, just because it's like, it's so bizarre that it's like, okay, Broly's coming back. Like Age of Broly's coming back soon. Then we also know that what's it called? Like there's a crossover banner upcoming soon. We also know Physical Rose is coming back soon. So I mean, it could be a thing of I have an idea in my next maybe I'll well, so I think the next Dokkan Fest is probably Gohan Black or something like that, right?
Oh,
that's what I've been speculating as well. That'd be awesome.
Because think about it. Rose is coming back. The banner comes out on Black Friday, right? Yep. This year, the banner comes out on Black Friday. Physical Rose is coming back. Age of Broly is coming back. Super Boss's characters, right, that are scheduled to return. Topo, another super boss character, scheduled to come back. Gohan Black could be he could maybe be in Super Bosses. It's not he's a crossover character.
Hmm.
They could throw him there because he is a Dragon Ball Super character technically. I mean, they might be nice about it, right? It's possible.
Well, someone pointed out when I mentioned it about where would he be on Super Bosses. Somebody pointed out, obviously, when they made that Goku and Gohan LR, what if they were still on Cell Saga, even though that moment didn't happen in the Cell Saga.
You're right.
So he
Gohan.
should be on Super Bosses.
So yeah, because he would be on Super Bosses. That makes sense, right? And he would also be on Future Saga too, for sure.
Yeah,
he's still like even non-canon characters there. So like yeah, that's a non-canon character or characters with what if animations like Vegeta Blue is on Future Saga still, right? So yeah, I think they could put him on. They could put him there, for sure, right? And it's like everything is like kind of lining up in that way, but then it's like Paragus Easy, I would assume like a Broly would be coming out. It just, and then it's like okay, final thing I want to say. Like I'm just ranting onto this because it's just my mind's exploding right now, and there's also one of those Purunga missions that were changed on global to being Majin Buu Saga. So my thought process as well is it either could be this next Dokkan Fest is Buu Saga, which doesn't really line up to me, unless it's like the Kakarot Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, maybe, or it could just be that the Carnival R in December is just unrelated to Gohan Black because we got Android 21 and then we got the Super Saiyan Trio. Those are unrelated characters.
Yep.
So the December Dokkan Fest and the Carnival in December aren't always related. I mean, they are technically always have been separate celebrations. So, if someone in chat said I'm thinking too much, I think I'm just tying together what's there. Like they're telling us this stuff, and I actually really like that they're being clear on it because it just makes things more fun when it comes to talking about the game. But it's like I don't know. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah,
but because I know Negan, you agreed with me. I saw you made a video about that guy.
Yeah, I think it's a good possibility as well because before we even had thoughts about things like Black Friday and stuff like that, which is a funny coincidence. But like ever since Goku Black was a thing that existed, people have made fan art of like Gohan Black and stuff like that, right? And there was a big V-Jump page about it. I think I saw even like IGN and places like that did articles about the Gohan Black what if when Sparking came out because obviously it was really popular and people really liked it. And like in the short time I played Sparking before I lost interest in it, like I thought that whole what if arc was really, really good and like the Gohan Black thing was really fun. So like it's something that has received quite a decent bit of publicity and is a popular thing sort of within the Dragon Ball community already anyway. So yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility if we're talking about crossover characters that specifically are like crossovers with the other games. Like I think that would be a really, really good option for like a Sparking Zero crossover.
And when it comes to Sparking Zero, there's that tournament ongoing. There's going to be a December patch that we know about. Like it can line up. Like what if, because Gohan Black is actually not playable in Sparking Zero right now, but maybe next month they're like in a patch they make them playable like for free. Like it's a non-zero chance. That would be kind of crazy. But I don't know because I assumed you finished talking. I don't know if you had any other points to make.
Well, I was going to go into potential other crossover bits as well, but we can always do that in a minute.
No, say it.
Well, yeah, because the other thing I saw some people saying it in chat as well is obviously the Xenoverse stuff because Xenoverse got another DLC, and there was I think it was from one of the previous ones, but if we're still on that sort of Goku Black related tangent, obviously there's the like ultra super villain thing that came out that is a thing for Xenoverse, and obviously then as you mentioned earlier that introduces an opportunity for them to do the Xenoverse character Easy A's. I mean they could do them anyway, right, even if it's not a Xenoverse crossover, but Xenoverse crossover could definitely be interesting.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about like the Xenoverse 2 supervillain Goku Black.
Yeah, and also wasn't it the most recent one that came out has like ultra super villain Jiren, which obviously for JP doesn't really mean anything, but lines up with Jiren coming out on global soon. And you would assume that they would obviously be differently named, but
Do you
have
want the
similar
lore with
links.
that? Like, you just want like I'm pretty sure the supervillain characters right now are what? It's like God Vegeta, Super Saiyan Goku Black. I'm pretty sure Rose Goku Black is one of them, and then there's Jiren.
Okay,
Yeah.
So,
when it comes to that, I mean, realistically, like as super bosses characters, like Jiren could fit. There is the Goku Black. I'm thinking, Goku Black is like something that people are talking about. I'm not sure about Jiren. I mean, Jiren could definitely be it. I feel like Goku Black would be like a bigger choice. Again, I'm thinking like Black Friday, you know, as well. Like it could just be like a Dokkan festival for that day.
It's not a thing in Japan though, is it? So I'm not sure if it would line up.
Well, I mean, the GP celebration is Black Friday, so
okay, well, there you
Global and
go.
JP, it's both Black Friday.
Okay.
And it's just a worldwide thing now. It's
true.
just because it's like sales and
Phenomenon.
everything online, right? Even though most obviously countries don't celebrate Thanksgiving, Black Friday is still like a huge sell kind of day thing going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, there's like also like Proton made a comment there. Again, the Majin Buu saga thing. There's the giant form rage form thing. It's like, okay, I have like an idea of a schedule that would be, I think, really peak. If you guys are fine with me just laying that out, and then we could actually talk about that new mechanic. I think, because that's a pretty big thing, right, Bill?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it might be really cool. Again, well, let's talk about the mechanic first, actually.
Okay.
So
I know, did both of you guys do videos covering this? I did not.
I did, yeah.
I did.
I know what it is, but I know that, so it's like, you know, recently something has been found in the data where the active skill is going to be looking a bit different. And, you know, we're potentially thinking that this is going to lead to a teaser for an upcoming Dokkan Fest, like we talked about, potentially for New Year's, anniversary, all that fun stuff. Usually they like to put this stuff in early. So what do you guys think about it? All that fun stuff. I know that we went on a long tangent about the next Dokkan Fest, but what do we think specifically about this part of the update, right? Regardless of like characters in the future, what do we just think about like what this is going to be?
I mean, because the thing is that at first I saw it and I was like, oh, is it just like them making, like, you know, when there's multiple active skills in the same turn and then you got like to wait like 20 years and you're like, oh my God, that's so boring. I thought it was like where they fixed that so that, okay, all characters would get their active skill once. But then they don't have like the different animations where it's like, oh, 2 active skills or something like that. So it should be for a giant form character. And that makes sense because in the actual, like not in the database, but in the code of the game, they added a counter for giant forms and how many times you become a giant. Now, that's just a useful thing to have in general. But like that and this added together makes me think that there's going to be some sort of giant character upcoming. Now, I think we all know the biggest guesses for people, but another guess I'm going to go ahead and put out there is imagine, again, we know Broly's coming soon. What if we get like a Wrathful Broly that has like a rage like form? Because obviously, you know, there's Wrathful Broly. And then you could active skill and transform into Super Saiyan when he's in that rage mode.
There you go.
I think that could be really cool.
Sounds fun.
Apparently, you're muted.
Nice.
Who's muted?
Me, because I was typing. Because
Bro always mutes
every time
himself.
I type, it's because every time I type in the chat, it's because my keyboard's so loud. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so everything else, the other counters that we have in the game, it's nice to have that information, but it's also there like for a reason, right? Because characters have abilities based on how many times they've dodged or how many times they've been hit or how many times they've super attacked. So it's useful to be able to open up the thing and actually see that information. So that does make me wonder, like, how this ties in, because like, why do you need to know how many times you've turned into a giant ape or used rage mode unless it's relevant for something? So my thought process was obviously like, what if the character has the ability, kind of like Beerus, right, has the multiple rage mode activations? What if the character has a rage mode or giant form transformation that's really easy to get condition wise, like potentially you could get it on turn 1, and then maybe they feature that new active skill ability, but the end result that you get, whether it's a transformation or it is an attack or whatever for their active skill that you can use in that mode, is more powerful based on the number of times you've used the rage mode, right? So if you don't do it straight away, you go back to normal, then you like rage again on the next turn, and then you could use it and it's going to be more effective or whatever, something like that. It's quite a lot of possibilities, but the only thing that makes me a little bit apprehensive about it is obviously with rage modes, the way they work and like the length of events, like even if a character could go into a giant form or a rage mode infinite number of times, you're probably not going to see it more than what, like 3 times maybe in a full length event, because once they detransform, they go back to being on that same rotation. So then you would have that turn play out as normal, then the next turn play out as normal, then you're back to that character again. And at that point, unless events are lasting for like, 10 plus turns, you're not going to get the opportunity to use that mode more than like a couple of times. So be interesting to see what it is. But yeah, I do like the idea of that animation, the idea of having like an active skill for giant forms, because that's the other thing that Proton mentioned as well. I think after I'd said about the active skill thing is there is no standby version of it. There isn't one where like the 3 standby things activate all at the same time. It's only for the active skill, and it's only for in all 3 slots at the same time. So the only thing that really makes sense for that is for giant form or rage mode. So, and obviously like Minato said, there's the popular choice, which is obviously like a new Goku versus Baby kind of Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 kind of thing, because that would be cool. Super Saiyan 3 Goku transform into the giant ape, and then you get the active skill in the giant ape mode and then transform into Super Saiyan 4. Something like that obviously would be very, very cool. But yeah, interesting to see.
I mean, we need a Dokkan Fest baby sooner than later for sure.
Yeah.
So that's cool. We'll see what happens though. I mean, I think there's a lot of speculation we could make about that, and I think it's really cool that they're adding this. Now, I saw people in the channel want to talk about it, like because this is being added now, people are thinking it's the anniversary mechanic. It could very well be 100%, right? But this could also be something that like they could add another extra mechanic, for sure if they really wanted to. I think that this will probably relate to the anniversary in some ways, though. Even if a character comes out in like December, or New Year's, and it has this mechanic, it could be like one of the Part 2 LRs also ends up having this kind of mechanic too. You just never know what could happen. So we gotta wait and see, right? What's gonna actually like come out of that. But I do want to give my like little like prediction layout, right? Imagine how peak this would be, chat. Like Gohan Black next week, right? It's like awesome with the Xenoverse EZAs, and then we get AGO Rose Super EZA. Oh,
Yeah.
or even if it's Xenoverse Super Villain Goku Black, would be awesome. Then we go into Carnival LR Kid Buu. Fine, right?
You're losing.
No,
it.
no,
coach.
no. That Majin Buu saga, dude. What else in the Majin Buu saga besides Buhan? Like, I think we need Buhan. It's pretty much Buhan and Kid Buu have not been covered, and it's like we at least have Buhan characters. I'm thinking LR Kid Buu for that Majin Buu saga mission, then give us Super EZA Buhan, and then the Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Vegeta EZA.
Oh, man,
I think you're doubting Amatsu's ability to find another way to do a Busag LR that isn't.
No. Look,
another way to do a base Goku.
I'm telling you, chat. Like believe, but trust the process. I think what Carnival LR Kid Buu will happen. I like, even no matter what the crossover LR is, or even if it's like, or the crossover Dokkan Fest is, or if it's just like a Majin Buu Saga Dokkan Fest. I'm thinking what like Majin Buu Saga, we'll see Kid Buu. like for a carnival are. Trust. If that doesn't happen, I will.
Don't say the one thing you did for Gogeta.
Oh yeah, true. When's that channel getting
I
deleted?
never said anything. I don't know what you mean. I showed Gogeta on that stream, man. Look,
Okay.
New Year's GT, right?
Yeah,
That'd be
I could
cool.
see it.
So I think
Or it could be New Year's Broly.
I have some thoughts on what you're saying here. So you're piecing together the improbable run that Dokkan does, like the two biggest meme releases of all time in the next like 2 months. So you're saying LR Kid Buu and Dokkan Fest Baby is coming in the next 2 months.
Hell yeah,
Trust.
let's
Trust the process, right?
So
Trust the process. Kid Buu is also demonic power.
True.
that is true. Can't argue with that.
Demonic power buffs, dude. They're building that category. Look,
It's for Daima though.
well, yeah, but like it's still like I mean, Daima is like right after the Majin Buu saga too.
Right.
True.
I mean, listen, Kid Buu I think is possible, and then like the waiters have definitely deserved it at this point. But it's just funny that I think that you're you're putting a lot of pressure on Omatsu here to come through.
Look, if Amatsu doesn't come through, he's getting fired.
That is not true.
I'm
You
making
should
a
be talking
call.
about another man's job like that.
I'm making a call to Toei. Get that man out. No,
Mm,
we do love
we
we do love Amatsu though.
this LR Kid Buu stuff is serious. Be ready to die behind it, right?
I know.
Dude,
right?
and, like jokes aside, like yeah, I don't know what we can say. Like, oh, like, eventually it is going to happen.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I don't know when though.
So you just putting it in this time window of 2 months, I think, is bold.
Look,
Because
it's
we're
all,
10 years in and it hasn't happened.
It's a prediction for a reason, but like, it's okay. We're saying we're 10 years in. That just means that they whittled down the options that we have left.
That is true. Okay,
Right.
so that's going to conclude the trash take segment for this week.
Okay, buddy. Thanks, man.
Damn.
No, you know what? No, no,
Roasted.
no,
What is it now?
nothing.
Yeah?
Let's go.
Nothing?
Let's go.
All right, so
I had nothing to say.
yeah, the update. We think all that fun stuff. We already talked about the upcoming Dokkan Fest, so I guess we'll kind of rework the sections here, based on the upcoming events and stuff that we have. Jiren, ladies and gentlemen, what do we think? Is he coming soon? Is he up next? Because I'm sure all of us made videos talking about Jiren is up next on Global.
Not me. I was like,
Not you.
I was someone. I was like, I don't think he's coming this week because the Goku
Yeah,
Frieza
yeah.
fight wasn't coming. So I'm like, I don't think he's
Right.
coming.
Yeah.
But, like, they are teasing, like they are heavily implying that he is on the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
With the addition to the God event, like the in the Universe 11 Infinite Dragon Ball history, like all the things are kind of pointing towards Joran, be like he's coming, right?
they also were like, oh
Joel.
yeah, everything not in global will be released before the end of the year. So
Uh-huh.
like he has to release by December.
Yeah, we got 4 weeks.
I do have a good idea of when he will release, and that is January. No, not January. Sorry, stupid as hell. That is December 6th, and the reason for that, the sales for this banner ends on the 6th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, they'll just put Jiren in that spot.
Right. I think
Like-
that is logical.
Dokkan Fest next week, then Jiren in that spot in the middle of December would make sense to me. That's my personal thought process.
Because
But,
we're
you
thinking
know,
like the next Dokkan Fest potentially is like next Friday, right? Because it's I think the sales and with the lining up of the sales and the Kai banner.
well, there's the maintenance that is on the.
Oh yeah,
Thursday.
that was just announced as well. Yeah, the 28th. So it's probably after that, right? So.
Yep. I think I had a thought. I lost it. There's another thing that they could do for Jiren if you want to be really generous, because Jiren should be returning on JP on the Carnival banner that I was talking about.
Mm.
Yeah.
What if
I think
they're
this is-
like, yeah, I'm gonna be nice to you global players. We'll just make it the same banner, and then that's Jiren's debut banner.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be something that they do.
No.
It seems like they really just want the banner of the character to be out there. So I think Jiren will have his own banner,
Mhm.
and then I think Jiren will be replaced by some other character on the global banner that also comes out in December. It's just funny to have two double rates carnival banners like a week apart.
Yeah.
But that's how it be. That's how it be.
Yeah.
Classic global right there.
It's a really weird,
Yeah.
like, because obviously we know that he's coming out before the end of the year because they specifically said, like, everything not out on JP will be out by the end of the year. Not out on Global that is on JP will be out by the end of the year. So he has to come out within the next, like, 5 weeks or so. But yeah, it's fitting him into the gap with a new Dokkan Fest in like a week's time. And then, like you say, we know we're going to have a December Carnival banner. That first week or two of December, I think, is probably the space where he fits in the most. But it's just yet another annoying situation for global players because it's another banner being fit in between everything else. And like, Jiren is really good, but I think I would say comfortably, he's like an easy skip because really, to like really get the most out of him, you want to be running like the full-on Universe 11 team where you have like Topo and everybody else, right? And obviously, he is good on the Tech UI team as well, right? But like, especially if you didn't get him either, then...
Because what I would say is actually, I think Jiren is probably going to be one of the better aging units in this year just because he gets 100% damage reduction.
Yeah.
On turn 3. That's huge. But I think the thing is that value is really nice. It's just it's not necessarily Jiren, especially compared to just what's coming, right? The fact the anniversary is like literally upcoming, so I think that's it. Even if Jiren had turned 100% reduction, it might be different, but
right. Okay, yeah. So Jiren, right? I think you guys basically covered everything, right? Like, when it comes to the kit, it's like, this guy isn't really blowing you away. I mean, he can be, but it's kind of you have to get there, right? You think about like full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but better, where you have to do a lot to kind of get to that like wowzer turn, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know, Minato, I didn't pull him unfortunately on JP, but like I've used him as a friend support plenty. And he's a fun character, but the vibe that I got, because like I said, after I found out the news, I dropped the Should You Summon video. And the vibe that I was getting of the people that are summoning him are literally just summoning for him because they're like, strength is absolute and I need Jiren. So that was it gave me the same vibe of like Tech UI, where like, is he a must-have character? I don't think so, but people just want him. They just think he's a cool character, right? And like that's the only reason people are summoning.
I'm a Jiren fan.
Yeah, I like Jiren too. So it's like it's tough to just be like, oh yeah, this LR Jiren comes out, he's really good. He's not like top 10 or anything like that. I think he's hovering in like that 15 range or so. Maybe I'm tripping on that, but I'm just spitballing. But he's a really good character, but I don't think he's worth blowing the anniversary funds for. I don't think like any character since the worldwide has been worth blowing the anniversary funds for. But
yeah,
people don't like to listen.
I don't know. I think the thing with Jiren is I actually like his full power Jiren form. It's actually good. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I actually like the more I use it, I'm like, yeah, I just would rather stay in a standby though. Like an invincible slot 1 character, and then if you put him in slot 2, he supports for 2 turns, 70% attack.
Yeah, 70. I was gonna say that.
He also gives key.
He's wicked.
I like standby Jiren a lot. He's goated. So
standby Jiren, full power Jiren. We just don't like base. Do you like base Jiren though?
No, he's kind of like.
And and I feel like most of the time you're going to be seeing him in base or standby. Like full power Jiren is the luxury, right?
Yeah. I full power Jiren. I don't think it's hard to get him out. I just feel like you would rather stay in the standby.
Yeah.
Personally, because it's like, what's the safest thing ever? Like a character with 100% reduction is the safest thing ever in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as the card carrying Jiren hater, I will happily declare him an easy skip.
Yeah, no, I would say skip him for sure.
Yeah.
But Ningen's biased, so I'm not.
Don't listen.
I am pretty biased with Jiren. I really want to say I like Jiren a lot, but I have to stay unbiased. You got to skip him.
You got to skip him. That is right.
I just want him to get the respect he deserves.
He's just not going to get it. People need their character development, Minato. They need a jam-packed backstory.
I think more like his kid.
Oh, his Dokkan? Oh, yeah. I mean,
but also he needs respect as a character too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how much higher can you rate him than like the top 12 to 14 area, like realistically?
Not a lot.
Yeah, so it's like that's where I've got him, and if you've got him at like in the 20s or something like that, I just don't think you're playing the same game that we are.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But he also isn't out yet for. Give me a number. 95% of players, maybe more.
I wouldn't say 95. Probably like 70.
I don't know what the demographic of Global to JP is. I would imagine it's pretty overwhelming, but
I don't know.
So Jiren, all that fun stuff. Like I said, we already talked about the upcoming Dokkan Fest. So, looking at our little structure here, I don't think we have much else to talk about aside from getting into our trash take segment for the week.
Oh.
Yay!
Okay.
I'm actually generally excited though. Like it sounded like very bad, but like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so we are hyped up, right? We have 2 takes today, believe it or not. First, we have to do an honorable mention for a take.
Yeah.
This
'Cause
one
the-
comes from Dargan, right?
Wait,
Wait, what?
we didn't talk.
What?
Someone in chat brought it up. We didn't even talk about the bigger super easy.
Oh,
Beerus
yeah,
Super-
that was between this episode and the last episode. That is true.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, do you want to get it? Well, I mean,
Okay, we could
it's
just
part
say
of it.
best easy to
With
or
the Dargan one, I
Yeah,
don't
but
even
you
know we're
are.
doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the. I mean, listen, we're gonna talk about Beerus here in a minute.
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So it's all good. It's all good. So
I
it's,
forgot about it.
Well, am I gonna act like it was there to begin with? Yes.
Look, let's continue. Let's continue.
All right. So this one comes from Dargan,
Forgot.
1271993, and he says at the Slot One Podcast, heroes units are the. Oh, that's not the right one.
I was gonna say
This
that's
This one comes from I got it. This one comes from Drace. My bad, Drace.
oh boy,
At the
Drace.
Slot One Podcast and at Minatos Flash. I got it. All right. I don't have a take this week, but I hope this makes it into the podcast. You guys are my goats. Maybe not Minato. Still deciding. Thank you for making my Fridays even better. I'm gonna leave out that he said just kidding and pretend he didn't say that.
Look. Okay. we gotta talk about this for a second because
Of course.
I looked at the tweet. I looked at the tweet trace, right? And I noticed that I was tagged. So that means that you replied to my retweeting of the tweet. Interesting.
Mm,
True. Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look who he's
buddy.
following.
I see you. I see you. Look, I'm goaded.
Mm.
That's all I have to say.
Well, if you have to say it yourself, that means you're not, right?
No, I'm.
I mean, the
goated.
fact that you got to talk about it.
That
means
just
you don't.
means the self confidence, man. Like
Mm.
you gotta be confident.
You should just display it, right? It should be your aura, if you will. They should just be able to look at you and be like, "Yeah, that guy, he's
Come
the
on.
guy."
I mean, you could already.
Your
Like, look at me.
glasses, your brown shirt.
Yeah,
I have your
true.
camera turned off, so I'm just assuming that's what you're wearing.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, you saw me earlier, so.
No, for my CPU, I turn your camera off on Discord because my PC sucks.
Wow,
So, all right.
that's funny though.
Yeah, anyway, so the real
Those
take
PC
of the
would
week.
crash.
Yeah.
Look, my aura is so strong, your PC would crash. That's
Exactly. So we want, that was, I just wanted to, I said like maybe we'll make that guy's day, right? So
Yeah.
the real take that we have here is from Celtic Link 1400 or Celtic Link
Wait, what?
YT, whatever you want to say.
That isn't the one that I thought you picked.
No, we went with the one that you posted.
That's
We're
not-
going
okay,
with it because
look,
it's about
why.
beer. So let's just go with it.
We're gonna read this one.
well, that's
And
not
then
what's
we're
up.
gonna
That's
read
not
the
what's
other
up on
one.
the screen right now. So
Okay,
Which,
okay.
which one is
Look,
up on the screen?
I'll read this one. This take from Big J, Mayo Nation Rules.
Thank you.
Tech LR Zamasu is still viable and aged wonderfully compared to the We Have No Limits units.
Okay.
Don't understand how he fell off the top 10 LRs.
Top 10 LRs. Is he just hypnotized by turn 1 Zamasu? With the damage reduction? Is that it? I mean-
I would assume so. I mean,
And it's like what? He takes 8 hits and he hits for like 15 million?
you see, because the thing with him is he is like the 80% reduction is like good on paper. It's just that obviously again his defense is not really the greatest ever. Like turn 1, he does need to build up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Ningen was gonna say something because
okay. Yeah.
Ningen just
yeah.
not
So,
saying anything.
I mean,
Okay.
listen. So does he work well with a
Yeah.
character like Physical Rose? Sure.
behind the
Is he good on
scenes
the Super
things.
Bosses team? Fine. But
Okay,
top 10?
yeah.
as a
So
don't know.
floater on the Super Bosses team, I think it's fine. But the thing is that like the idea with him when he released is like, okay, his damage reduction starts to ring down, and then you can go into Infinite Zamasu,
Mhm.
who's also invincible. So that's cool, right? Except
That's
that domains are like on like every single character ever. So
By that you mean like 5?
yeah, but like important characters. So
Yeah.
like on his team specifically, there's multiple domains that are available.
Yeah, of course.
You're
'cause
not
what, is
gonna go on.
I said it's like the clash is between what? Broly, Rose, and Zamasu? Yeah. Then it's a fun time. It's a domain clash, right? It's JJK.
I mean, this character, like, has anyone taken him in the Gogeta and the Janemba fights?
Zamasu?
Yeah, I don't think anyone has really like. Really
No, I haven't actually.
I mean,
I
I'm
feel like Zamasu might be a decent option against Gogeta, but I think Janemba will just like one shot him.
Yeah, 80% damage reduction. Everybody's gangster with that until the super's like literally 5 million. Like
yeah,
it's like that's still multiple hundreds of thousands, guys.
Yeah.
so that's the thing about him. And then it's like a thing of if you're at full HP, he wants to be at lower HP to get some extra defense, which now at this point he'll need. So it's like, okay, you're at higher HP. That just leads him to having the ability to just get one shot from full HP way more commonly. It's top 10 is crazy. He's still like not a bad option, but saying that you don't understand why he's not top 10 basically, or how he fell out the top 10, like I don't know.
I
It's
just
a very interesting take.
Yes.
I see it as just they see they're blinded by the turn one performance because I think we are all guilty, especially when we do our tier lists, right? Where we'll talk about it's like the turn one performance is so important, right? And this character with the 80% damage reduction and stuff like that, who 90% of I don't know what 95% of the bosses in the game aren't good at getting through 80% damage reduction turn one. It's just this specific Gogeta and Janemba lens for turn one where they're really hitting like in these 5 to 6 million range or whatever it may be. But I don't know. It's tough. Maybe they just play the game or evaluate it differently, but I don't know. Top 10 is just like, I don't know. Was that character out of the top 10 by the 9th Annie? Like, I don't know. Was he? It's tough to
I
say.
don't think so, no.
I'm not sure. Because, yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, he was a super fun unit. I feel like he was underrated when he first came out. But, like, because I think it maybe took people. I mean, some people hated them straight away, but I think it took a little while at first for the blue duo to become a meme and people to hate them. I feel like people liked them more than Zamasu, at least for the first, I don't know, like a couple of weeks or so.
The honeymoon phase.
I feel like it was the opposite.
I don't know. I seem to
people like
remember
Zamasu
people.
more.
I don't know.
Because I remember I came out and I was like, I like the blue duo more than Zamasu, and everyone hated me for it. Everyone hated me for it. They're like, "Are you crazy? Are you dumb?" Like I got a lot of comments about that, so that's why I remember. Yeah.
The 55% showcase for that character was maybe one of the most damning things ever, where the screenshot came out of like the 1.8 million attack stat for the blue duo.
Yeah.
See, because the thing is that people like this is like a whole other thing with the blue duo. When they came out, they were
good,
like the best slot one unit in the game, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the most important thing to kind of have on so many teams, especially with how good their team is. It's just a thing of like the restriction to transform was not really that great. And that kind of killed the whole vibe of the character. I think the character was better than people gave him credit for a very long time. But once anniversary hit, obviously they just kind of didn't really do that well anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not like that. The 9th anniversary power creep wasn't just like unique to the blue boys in terms of just like power creeping them out of the stratosphere, right? Because like a unit that people like to defend a lot in my experience is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and he was hanging on by a thread during Worldwide, right?
Yep.
And like that was a unit that people like they'll still say, oh, he hits all the time. He hits for 15 million. I'm like, okay, Broly does triple that turn one, the tech one, the EZA.
Dude, 15 is not undefendable.
Right. I was like, okay, like great, like is that a good attack stat? Sure, but it's like, what do you have to go through to get to that attack stat, right? Because like, I don't think Rainbow Super Saiyan 4 Goku for the most part, like turn one is hitting for 15 million. Because I think mine's at like 90% at this point. And he hits around like 13, 14. I guess I'm nitpicking,
like,
but that's not hard hitting anymore.
Yeah,
that's just because it's a single attack stat. If he was doing like 3 of those,
but he's not.
Exactly. But the thing with the blue duo is that like you could juice them up to make them look decent damage wise, but then you sacrifice their defense. I just think that there was a lot of technicality with the character, where like you had to sacrifice certain things for other things. I thought the design and concept is cool, but it's just a thing of characters. Most of the time that are like Dokkan SLRs just do everything just for free. So I think that was an issue. I think if their attack stats were just like higher, people would actually be so much more favorable of that character.
Yep.
Yeah.
If the slot 2 or slot 3 offensive numbers were just there, slot 1. I think people would, and yeah, like you said it really well, where that was a character that fulfilled a role that most teams need. Like, how many teams in the game, like, you get $1 for every team in the game that just needs some slot 1 characters and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
And then the Future Saga gets one, and it's like, oh, this character is hitting. It's like, look at this character hitting for 2.2 million in the big 2-3 or whatever year we were in, right? And it's like, oh, they're trash and stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like there's been revisionist history with that character. It's like they were
Well, the
top
funniest
5 on release, right?
Yeah, the funniest thing is the fact that, like, because obviously his numbers are different, but like, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is the same, like Angel Goku from Golden Week, and everyone loves him. Whereas, like, if you read what the card does, like, they do less damage in slot 1 because they get more defensive buffs in slot 1. Now, obviously, if you put them in slot 2 on turn 1, like, they're still not hitting insanely high attack stats, but like, whenever people posted like the meme screenshots of their attack stat, it was all with them being in slot 1, which, as Minato mentioned, they would like be doing the job that you want them to do in slot 1, which was being a fairly solid like defensive unit. So I do think it is a bit.
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes against hard-hitting bosses, like obviously at the time with when the worldwide all those events were coming out, the Zamasu stage was obviously the big bad stage for the duration of quite a while, especially for global. And obviously, if they didn't dodge his super in slot 1, they would still take a pretty significant bit of damage. But yeah, in terms of the actual take, so make sure you guys vote in the poll in the chat. Let us know WL take. But like Tech Zamasu, I don't know, maybe it is people like revising history. That happens a lot. But I seem to feel like at the time when he came out, people didn't like him as much, or at least as much as I thought he deserved. Because like his team was interesting. Obviously, I guess it needed some more buffs, which it then got a little bit over time. His was the first, I think, 200% lead that had like a few of the heroes units on it. And so even though they'd started to age a little bit, like characters like Mechikabra could be run on his team, which was kind of funny. But like Super Saiyan 3 Rose was on his team. Dark King Fu was on his team. Like that kind of stuff was kind of fun for like the end of last year. But yeah, I really enjoyed using Texamasu for a long time. And on Global, obviously because we got the Super Bosses category early before the anniversary, he was like a staple on that team. And that's when you kind of started to see that he was starting to age a little bit, like after that first turn. But it's like somebody said in the chat, like he might not be top 10 anymore, but he's still usable in some situations potentially, especially when you think like if you can keep him protected early on and then you don't have any other ones on the team that you want to prioritize, you then throw him into his domain and he just literally becomes invincible and provides support, which is pretty cool. So I mean, he could be interesting, but yeah, he definitely aged badly, somebody said here, because of the domain clash with Broly. As like super bosses, you really wanted to use Broly, you want to transform Broly, them tying the like transformation into their domain, I think was a mistake in that regard, because it then yeah, like you're never going to use Zamasu's domain on that team because you want to transform Broly. So Zamasu can still be okay in some situations. Like if we got a new boss come out now, maybe not if they were like Goku and Frieza level, but like a new boss that came out now that was AGL, you could probably get away with running him in some setups. But I definitely think I guess it kind of comes down to how we would qualify the top 10 now. But with some of the crazy units, like if you consider the 9th anniversary LRs and the worldwide LRs, and the fact that especially for the worldwide LRs, like all of them would be in the top 10 still. It's more so the fact it's not so much that he is suddenly considered bad. It's just more so some of the recent LRs that we've gotten have just been so good that I think that's why he's been pushed out of the top 10, right? Because there are some situations where he can be a bit of a liability and there are just other units out now that are better. So I do really like Texamasu, but yeah, he's definitely not a top 10 LR anymore, unfortunately, for him.
2024 was a really aggressive year for power creep too, where last year was definitely not. You know, the jump from 7th to 8th was nowhere near as dramatic as the jump from 8th to 9th. So I feel like a lot of those characters that came out in that time frame just didn't end up looking like the best. But I think you said it really well, right? These characters like Zamasu fits in fine. It's just like you said, the domain thing, right? Because like with Broly, even like when he came out before like movie bosses was like a real team, it's like you really were just running that character with super class characters anyway, and that domain would harm those super class characters that were around him at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so superclass. I'm reading into that correctly, right? Superclass allies and enemies who take more damage
Yeah, I think
with
so.
that domain. Yeah. So and like you weren't running Broly on super bosses when he came out because there was a whole thing about his team, right? It was like a whole the pitchforks were out, right? That his team was terrible just because like his leader skill was bad because super bosses wasn't good.
Yeah.
I think I'm remembering that correctly because he still had transformation boost at full power as well, which are two good teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Broly's leader, because obviously, like, Broly has leader skill, has beast on it. But yeah, his
Right.
domain's not ideal for superclass, which
Mhm.
it's good for him for other teams, though, because obviously, like, him being on the Super Saiyans team with Tech Vegeta and some of the Vegeta family characters and stuff like that, like, yeah, he could definitely be useful. But it's just the fact that the transformation is really what you want, and that's, yeah, just has that domain clash with Zamasu, which is super awkward.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so I think, I don't know, like, to go back to the take, like, as we like to do with these, we do try and break down just based on the wording, right? Because all we can do is deal with what we've been given. And it's just like, Tech LR Zamasu is still viable. I mean, arguable. But I don't know about the and aged wonderfully. I guess it does say compared to the Blue Duo, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to them, yeah.
I guess that part, yeah, compared to them, maybe. But
Take out top 10 and we're probably saying like, yeah, this is like probably cold.
yeah.
But it's sometimes it's just like two words, right? He throws in and it's still top 10. He could have said top 30. It would have been fine. He said 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough. So you mentioned something about the other take you wanted to talk about, or
Yep, I literally that's why I was a bit quiet at the beginning. I very quickly opened up Photoshop and made a graphic for the other take. So we'll end the poll for this one. Unsurprisingly, majority vote is L take. So
L take.
not surprising.
Okay.
Shout out to anyone who is rewatching / listening to the VOD or listening to the episode when it goes up on Spotify. Obviously, do try and make it out to a live episode if you can and take part during the Trash Take segment and let us know what you guys think of the take in the poll. But yeah, I'll go ahead and throw up the other one here.
Okay.
Now, which is the Celtic Link one. So here we go.
It is about Beerus.
Yep,
I don't want to
here we
start reading
go.
the wrong one for the 8th time. Okay. So Celtic Link YT says at the Slot 1 podcast, Super Easy 8 Beerus isn't number 1. He is homeless and eats up much needed slots on his teams. In quotes. He is a good tank but provides not much else while lowering your damage output while not giving much back in return. Falling below 60% is often a death sentence, is being overlooked. I'll open this one up to the panel, if you will, the peanut gallery. Minato, I think
I'll make the
Minato's
poll
pretty
quickly.
animated
So
about
yeah,
this one,
Minato,
right?
you let us know. I'll make the poll, and Minato, you let us know what you think.
I don't even want to talk about this because it's just like wrong. Like, I don't like. This is flat out wrong. Like I don't care. Like it's wrong. Like
Well, we're trying to get some elaboration here. That's why we're doing it.
I know it is like
He's just too mad. He's too mad to brain.
Like I don't understand how you would use this character and then just say this. Like the one time I died with him is when I canceled Goku Frieza's super, and then he was getting hit by Goku Frieza's normals after the rage mode that hit him for 180k, and then I got hit by 3 of those, and then I died. Right?
Wait, why does that? Oh, is it because he loses that extra damage reduction, doesn't he, on that turn?
Yep. So I think I might have lost all of his damage reduction. I don't remember the exact HP number I was at. Okay, so don't quote me at 100%. I'm pretty sure I lost all of his damage reduction, which is the only reason I did die. Because I was trying, but that was in a situation where I was trying to farm the rage mode, cancel the super.
Yeah.
Like I was going out of my way to do that on purpose, and in most situations that would not happen when I was running Beerus, because I had difficulty getting his rage mode out in that fight because or specifically when the boss was under 50% HP, I had difficulties actually getting Beerus' ring around that specific instance because the Slug's team is really good and you're able to handle that phase. Saying he's homeless is wrong.
Wild to me, yeah.
Just flat out wrong. He has Tech UI Goku's team. He has Slug's team. He has Tech Broly's team. All 3 top tier teams that were majorly buffed this year. He fits on there. eats up much needed slots. How is he eating up a slot 1 spot? What character could you like? What character can you put in slot 1 that you're guaranteed to live?
Hmm.
Beerus is a character like that right now. You're
Mhm.
like you, no matter what the situation is. I would say, except for that one situation I pointed out, obviously, but like
Yeah.
99% of situations. This is talking about my experience from at a rainbow level.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this guy has him at 55%.
Right.
You know, I don't know. A lot of people would potentially, to be fair, but like this guy is a consistent character in what he's doing, and he doesn't die. So he's filling a role that most characters don't fill as a slot 1 character that will never die. Because again, he's not based on dodge. He's not based off, all RNG parts of his passive that I need to activate. This guy is just sitting there with the guard and 30% reduction. And even when he's not built up, he's eating and living the hardest hitting super attacks in the game turn 1. So
Mhm.
that doesn't make sense to me. He's a good tank, but provides not much else while lowering your damage output. He cancels the enemy super attack sometimes. He's supporting their rotation.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
actually, I don't. None of these points like make sense.
So, yeah.
I
So
just
I have a question about your scenario where you lost, and this isn't like I'm not trying to question or press you or anything. I just want to know:
Mhm.
was Goku were they under 50% HP?
Yes, that's the point.
So attack 950,000 on that normal, and attack 100% up when HP is 50% or less, and 180,000 per normal on a 50% up on 950,000 attack.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
That's like
mean-
that's you put almost any other character in the game right there. That's a Thanos snap
Well, the thing is,
if they're not
I would,
dodging, right?
well, I would say a lot of characters would actually be fine. Like, let's say if it was HOUI there, for example.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I said. Like minus dodging. That's what I said.
Oh, minus dodging. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't hear that. Yeah, because it depends, obviously, but he still canceled out the super, and I think that he did. I'm pretty sure he lost all his damage reduction. I can't say that 100% for sure,
Mhm.
but still, it's a very massive thing to be able to. Not only is he not only is he surviving most situations, because I had a situation where he eats the Goku Frieza super at full power if he's at full health, at least above 60% for about
Mhm.
600k, and the team has more than 600k HP,
Mhm.
100%.
That's
of the
really
time,
good.
right? So, like, he's able to live any super attack in any scenario given his passive swell up, and otherwise he cancels the super attack out with his rage form.
Mhm.
I guess the one argument you can make is that he doesn't do damage, but I just don't understand why people want this character. Like, it's like they want their cake and eat it too, or
Uh-huh.
what is the
That's the
term?
one.
Have the
Logic
cake
that-
and eat it too.
Yeah, it's like they want. He's like literally the perfect slot 1 character to handle what slot 1 needs is super attacks that
Mhm.
will kill you and one shot you. He's the perfect version of that character that you would want for
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah.
But then you want him to also be shooting on like 50 mil attack stats with like crit as
Mhm.
an easy A character that released in 2016
Mhm.
is when he came out, right? I just
And
like, and then the points are just wrong. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm like, look, I see Celtic Link. I see him on the timeline. Seems like a cool guy, but this take is just like
Red hot.
absurdly bad.
you said one thing, Minato, where you're like, you're talking about the cake and eat it too, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so Beerus doesn't do damage, and guess who's in slot 2? Tech Broly.
Right, Tech Broly,
Right.
Slug
Cell
can do
Max.
damage. Like there's a lot of these characters. Like a Slug could do pretty good damage, actually.
Yeah,
I would
so-
say. These characters will fill different roles, and the thing is that this guy is filling a role that many people don't. So I just don't see how
Mhm.
he's eating up much needed slots on his teams. Tech UI Goku, Repsu Universe 7 is on a team. Movie Bosses is on a team. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think because his performance is at such a level. So to get my thoughts in about Beerus, like his performance is on that kind of level where, like, because I did, for example, right, the showcases for the reps of Universe 7 sub Easy A's today, right? And one of the big things that I said about all of them is if you have the option to run all the units in the game, like if you had all of them, like for most of them, it does come down to why would I run them on the reps of Universe 17 when I could be running like, 17 and Frieza or the LR like Team Universe 7 or whatever. Whereas like Beerus actually does have an argument to be included on the team because like, yeah, he's got that really, really good defense. His damage, my only nitpick with him is that he doesn't have any sort of like additional, like I think he gets it when he can get it when he's on low HP, but when he's in that like tank mode, right? He usually just does one super, but it's a reasonable attack stat considering that he is also such a strong defensive character. Like you think back to the days of like AGL Golden Frieza, where it's like this guy was the best tank in the game, so it didn't matter that he did basically 0 damage because that's not what he's on the team for. Whereas this Beerus is a really, really good tank, and like, yeah, he might only super attack once, but he does a pretty decent attack stat. He has the rage mode, which you can use multiple times. And funnily enough, it's almost like a fact of him being too good. When I did the initial showcase for him and then tried him out in another event, I didn't even get the rage mode because I didn't drop below the HP that is required. But then when I first actually got to use it, like even his rage mode is really good. The attack stats for that were fairly decent, and he got an additional super in every single slot because he has the chance to additional as part of his passive. So like bearing in mind that the point of the rage mode nowadays is to just get a turn of free damage where you're potentially cancelling out supers and AoEs and stuff like that. But he's also doing some decent damage on top of that as well, which is pretty good. And yeah, it's weird because like we talk about characters. One of the big things that stuck out to me for this one is saying that he's homeless. Like we say that about characters when you look at that unit and it's like, yeah, this unit's good, but like what team can I actually even run him on? Whereas like, yeah, the fact they did probably the perfect thing. One of the things that we hate probably more than anything, right, is when they restrict characters to needing like a specific rotation of like say one category. Except he's got like 3 categories and they're all the teams that you would run him on. Like he needs those allies in order to get his extra abilities and everything, but those are the teams that you would run him on anyway. And then one of the other things that I really like about him is, especially with the what's the word I'm looking for, synergy with like movie bosses, is that he's a character like Broly that doesn't have big bad bosses, so he can fit nicely onto that like Broly team because he gets a 200% lead from both the worldwide Brolys. And yeah, it doesn't matter that he doesn't have big bad bosses because neither do they, right? So it's yeah.
Even like a thing of you could say like the one issue with him is the links that like you said, he's slot 1. So like if you have a character like Slug in slot 2, you can get a big bad bosses character in slot 3.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And he supports. So like if you really wanted to, you could throw him on some of these teams and just have him as a floating unit. And then he's doing decent damage and tanking and supporting the rotation, like in slot 3. So
it's like I don't like him. Like, okay, well, this comment being fair is saying he's not number 1. If you mean number 1 in the game, yeah, I assume they mean number 1 TUR.
Yeah, I don't think has anyone said he's number 1 in the game. I think people will say that he's
so.
number 1. I've seen people say number 1.
I think you could argue him as a top 10 unit.
Yeah,
like for sure. Because the more you use him, it's like he doesn't die. Like
yeah,
right.
And he's supporting, and it's not like even AJUY Goku sometimes could die. Even Super Saiyan Trio sometimes could die. Sometimes Tech Broly could die in very niche scenarios. Like there's like only characters that come to mind where I feel completely safe with them in like 90% of the time is Int Broly, Int Fat Boo, and then like other characters like in like HOUI and Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, I feel very safe with, but not as safe as those characters. Because always situation like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, his damage reduction over the time runs out, and he needs Buu Saga, HOUI. I've had situations where he still doesn't dodge a super and die. Sometimes, right? It can happen. There's dodge canceling, but this guy is going to be a consistent. Like he will always tank it. He doesn't have to rely on any external factors. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he's homeless.
He's homeless, right?
yeah.
My Beerus is kind of homeless.
Alright.
Dude.
Well, yeah, this one has a similar response from the chat. So majority L take in the poll.
I gotta find a W take next week.
Well, I mean, it's every now and
It's
then.
tough.
Every now and then we do have some resounding W takes, but you know the segment is called Trash
It might be
Takes. I
cold.
think people enjoy the. We do like to say that this person clearly understood the assignment because this is a
Right,
trash
yeah.
take.
It would be really funny if this is a take that they saw and I just ripped into him.
Yeah, true. It's not in the chat, unfortunately, but yeah, we'll have to mention him. I'll at him afterwards maybe and be like, "Hey, so we talked about this. Check it
What
out."
is this? Hey, what's this, by the way?
Well,
no,
yeah,
I mean, either
you're
way, it's not against. Like I said, it's not against the person. It's against the take.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you're gonna say like, oh hey, look, you were featured in this week's trash take segment, and then me to tell you, you're like, you open that up, you're like, I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know, literally.
It's actually it's a really good trash take.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, you,
All right,
you
so
understood the assignment. We'll just go with that.
exactly. So I'll end the poll. Yeah, it was majority 70% L take. Unsurprising, really. So yeah, we can go back to the regular view here for the final segment.
Woo!
I don't know why I said it like that.
And the final segment is we're transitioning to the support, correct?
That's
All
right.
The fun stuff.
Yep.
So
yep.
I cannot read the donations and stuff like Ningen can, so I will hand this this portion over to him. I had a good time segmenting this show and leading us in between the topics, even though I can't do the trash take segment. But you know, it led for some fun content. So
That's
it's
all right.
Clap your hands, everyone! Applaud. Really,
So I'll throw it back to
you.
I'll throw it back to you for the outro anyway. So
oh yeah.
all right, so we got the support. Shout out to everyone who did contribute during this episode. We appreciate you guys. We have Bringer Down with the $2 super chat. It says the Tapion agenda is the best agenda. So
for the giant mechanic.
well,
He's always talking about this tape.
yeah, Bring It Down loves Tapion. In fact, he's done some challenge runs recently. Like I think he beat the Peppy Gals thing Bulma stage with Tapion on the team. So yeah, his agenda is taking AGL Tapion
he
into
debuff?
yeah. So yeah, his agenda is taking Tapion into as many events as possible and being able to get the W. So shout out to Bringer. We also have Sokodo re-upping his channel membership, as well as Philip Rodriguez, who says #Heroes Agenda. We have our boy Prof re-upping his membership. He says, Heroes Forever. This celebration was very disappointing, but I overhyped myself with my custom celebration. Still love Heroes. #Heroes Never Die. I mean, yeah, Heroes. Yeah, this is the home of the Heroes Agenda.
I mean, technically, it did die, but
Well, yeah, I was going to say this is the home of the Heroes Agenda, but we will carry on the spirit of the Heroes Agenda forever, even though there won't be any new characters. I mean, the Easy A's will kind of count as new characters, I guess, but the team won't ever really receive the overhaul that it does in the normal celebrations now, because we'll just be getting the Easy A's, and if it's anything like this year, where like half of them aren't even that good, it means you're already ending up with like 3 or 4 characters that become usable again. So my only hope is that the future Easy A's, they kind of make them runnable on some of these non-heroes teams so that they can see a bit of a comeback, because Hearts has the potential to be really good with an Easy A, although I'm pretty sure his passive has crossover restrictions all over it. But
and he will be a good extreme class leader for that team as well.
exactly.
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I did a video using him the other day just to see how he would do with the new Heroes units, because obviously a lot of the new Extreme Heroes units have big bad bosses. And whilst I know it's not like the hardest stage in the game or anything, I did the Family Kamehameha Gohan, like Blue Zone stage. And Hearts, like after transforming, even after that first turn where his guard runs out, he's tanking the normals all the way through the event, even through to the last stage for double-digit damage, which at least is something. Like, I mean, at least I got away with winning the stage, but yeah, he's definitely not like an impressive unit anymore. He's doing like 4 million attack stats and stuff like that. But yeah, his Easy A definitely has potential, and obviously he has his his voice now, or his Japanese voice on global, which is fun.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about
Yeah,
that.
I forgot about that completely.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah, Hearts, Vegito, and
Huge.
Goku all having the Japanese voices, which is cool. And I do like the fact, because, you know, not starting the whole dub versus sub argument all over again, but I have my Dokkan audio set to English, and I like the fact that it still then plays the Japanese voices for the heroes' characters, because they don't have the English option. So I think that is pretty cool. But yeah, so shout out to Prof. Like I say, for the Heroes fans, it wasn't the final celebration that we hoped for, but it was still pretty fun overall. So yeah, we'll have to see what the
Friends you
future
made along
holds.
the way, right?
Exactly, and who knows? Maybe we will see Heroes characters again at some point. Who knows what kind of deal they'll come to with the licensing and all that kind of stuff now that the game is dead. Because at the end of the day, the only thing we know is that we're not getting any more Heroes collaboration celebrations. But who knows? A random character could appear as a Dokkan Fest in the future. Never say never when it comes to Dokkan, but who knows? So shout out to Prof and to Heroes. Shout out to Raldo for gifting a membership to the channel. Appreciate you. Then we have Weeb of Class with the $15 super chat. He says, will we ever see a Xenoverse collab again? So this is obviously something we were talking about. I really need those banner units to Easy A. Maybe when the current DLC story ends, we could get a Dokkan Fest exclusive Fu. So yeah, what do you guys... Obviously, we talked about the possibility of the Xenoverse collabs. Do you think we will see another one? Will it just be the new DLC related stuff, the supervillain stuff, or what else do you think we could see? Because Fu is one of those characters like Mira and Toa, where he's not like a hero's character. He's been in a bunch of these other like side Dokkan, not Dokkan, Dragon Ball IPs. So
Well,
I think you can get a Dokkan Fest.
Yeah. How familiar are we with the Xenoverse stuff across from here? Because I had Few is like one of the main dogs in that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's throwing all the ripples around and doing all this crazy-ish, right? And that's kind of like his whole thing. So I think that'd be a good Dokkan Fest pick, because I don't think Supreme Kai of Time would really bring the people in. You know, they kind of did that with Heroes with the tech unit. We don't need to talk about why, but and it would be the same thing for Trunks, right? Like you could do a Dokkan Fest Trunks. Like I feel like
I think a Xeno Trunks would be cool as a Dokkan Fest, because he is
his outfit in that is cool too.
he's like the guy
That
for
really
the
is what matters.
Yeah, like he's the tutorial character. I mean, technically, he's kind of like. I mean, it's not. I know it's not technically Xeno Trunks, but it's like he's the tutorial character for Dokkan as well. Like having an actual Xeno Trunks with the like black trench coat and everything. That would be super cool as a Dokkan Fest, I think, especially as like a crossover leader, because he is. I mean, he is the guy, right? He's like essentially. I mean, you can argue with like Goku, Xeno, Goku, and Vegito and all the crazy hero stuff, but like he's essentially like the leader of the Time Patrol, right? Like Supreme Kai of Time's right hand man. So him as a Dokkan Fest, I think would be really cool, especially transforming, because even though I think most of that is Heroes and not Xenoverse, he does have like Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3. Probably wouldn't be God, because that is specifically a Heroes form, but yeah, getting some more Xeno Trunks stuff would be cool. And then Easy A those Xenoverse characters. I think that would be very, very interesting. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So shout out to Weevil Class. We have Philip Rodriguez with a $5 super chat. So he's talking about the mechanic we were talking about with the Great Ape thing. It says, don't worry, the update is just to remove super attack cancelling. So could you imagine they make it so that Great Ape modes don't cancel out the enemy super attacking you? That would be
Orange Piccolo stock. Oh my god, I couldn't do that.
man.
You know how long I've been defending that character? I mean, not that it's like, rare, but you know.
I don't think that'll be the case though.
Nah, I don't think so.
No, exactly. Like it's basically
Don't put that
the
in
whole
the air, though.
yeah, it's basically the whole reason why those things are still useful in the game now, because a lot of the giant forms don't do a lot of damage. But not only are you getting a turn where you don't take damage, that's probably the most valuable thing about them now, is cancelling out those special abilities. So definitely very, very useful. So yeah, I can't see them changing that, but that would certainly be an unfortunate side effect. Someone in the chat saying as well, Super Saiyan 3 Bardock is technically a Xenoverse character. You know who we need? Another Mars Saiyan. Yeah. That's what I'm... Imagine, like, it was such a random release, because he came out on the same banner as the Tech Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku Dokkan Fest, and he had his own Dokkan event. Like, he's such a random release. So, would love to see another Mars Saiyan, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. So we've got Philip Rodriguez also gifted 5 memberships to the channel, so appreciate you. Raldo with another gifted at the end. And then we have Daniel Rodriguez with the $5 super chat says, we need a Dokkan Fest / Carnival Whis to make Beerus pop off even more. So yeah, I mean,
that would give him a home.
Yeah, imagine imagine a Carnival LR Whis that's like Realm of Gods 200%. Ooh, that's yeah, because that is one of the big things with that Beerus. You can put him on a bunch of these teams, but obviously his best link partners are Whis pretty much because until we got the anniversary free to play one, obviously he was a character like Piccolo that suffered from every single version of him just has the same name, so you can't link him with other versions of himself. So yeah, for Beerus to be really, really good, like a new Whis or a new Beerus and Whis, because obviously they've got their EZA already and they're outdated at this point. So I think Whis is one of those characters that would fit perfectly as what we would call like a filler Dokkan Fest, right? Like in the sort of Slug or Scout of Vegeta like spot. Having a Dokkan Fest Whis, I think, would be quite cool. And then considering Whis units in the game are generally dodging support units, he could be one of those. I do like those leaders where leaders of the team are characters that you just kind of end up floating as supports, and then that lets you build the rotations however you want for teams. So I think that could be quite cool. And then, yeah, obviously Tech Super EZA Beerus would be able to pop off even more, as it says in the super chat here. So that would be very cool. What would you guys like to see from a Whis? Do you think it's a good Dokkan Fest? Would you want to see another Whis and Beerus? Like, Vilify, what do you think?
Yeah, I was trying to say it's like Whis. I don't know how long in Super, right? Until they introduce Zeno and the Grand Priest, right? It's like Whis is the strongest or like the most powerful character in Super for a decent portion of it, right? Yep. And so, you could easily kind of do something with like his karate chop that he does to Beerus that knocks him out, or some sort of funky attacks, right? You have like reference from Xenoverse being like that symphonic destruction attack where he does, where he's kind of doing this and going back and forth. You can do something like that. I mean, there's plenty to draw from Whis. Even maybe something from the Super Broly movie. He does briefly kind of do a little. I
was gonna say, like,
weaving.
Yeah, people saw even that brief bit. I think it might have been in one of the. Was it in the trailer or not? I can't remember. But even that very brief bit where people were like, you get to see him just kind of like dancing around Broly, like not getting touched, and it's like, yeah, see this guy, like you said, I don't really think about it very much, but. Beerus essentially says at the end of Battle of Gods that, like, yeah, Whis is more powerful than I am. Yeah, and then we don't really get to see him do much. And then, like you say, until we get introduced to the hierarchy with, like, Zeno and the Grand Priest, it's like, yeah, Whis is, like, the strongest character in the verse, essentially, up until that point where those reveals come out.
I'm laughing.
So.
I'm laughing thinking about an old debate used to be Whis versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and now it's gotten so dumbed down, and now it's Kaba.
Oh, dude, I love nothing more than GT fans getting triggered about the Super versus GT power scaling, because
it is funny.
It is funny because like that's a super power is just ridiculous. It's completely off the charts, but like.
Going multiverse.
Exactly, yeah. My favorite argument is still the fact, though, that Super GT takes place after Dragon Ball, and technically Super takes place before the end of Dragon Ball. Therefore, GT takes place after Super.
I'm sure the GT staff was thinking about, so this blue guy with white hair is going to be running around with a staff. That was definitely in their head.
Good times. But yeah, that's it for the super chats, donations, contributions for tonight. So thank you guys very much for all of your support. It is very much appreciated. So yeah, that is it for those.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. This has been another edition of the Slot 1 Super Podcast. My name is Vilify. This has also been Minato and Ningen. Thank you guys for all the support during the show, staying in live. And if you are watching this as a video, make sure that you do all that fun stuff down below. Leave a like, subscribe, all those fun things. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode in 2 weeks. So have a great night, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace.